Graham Porter from Dad's Behaving Madly. I just wanted to jump on and thank you all for the love and support you've given us so far. Dad's Behaving Madly continues to grow and grow at a really positive rate. We're getting 4 new dads a week. It's just going absolutely crazy at the minute. So it's all thanks down to you guys for liking and sharing and following our podcast, especially as well, being launched from the Yorkshire Coast Connections. So I just wanted to mention in the next few episodes, there's a few subjects what are probably going to be a bit raw and close to the bone. So if they do strike a chord with you, or they do resonate with you, or it strikes, or something comes up, you can always DM me, and you can see some numbers just above here to the left and up and down. Some banging charities out there, Mind, I'll put the details in. You've got Rainbow Centre in Scarborough providing support with homelessness, drugs and alcohol support. North Yorkshire Horizons as well provide drugs and alcohol support. You've got Samaritans, then you've got the NHS crisis line, so you can ring that 111, it's option 2. And then Calm as well, so we'll put the details in for that as well. So there's plenty of support out there. If you do find something that strikes you and you need help and support, there's also the Andy Man's Club in Scarborough, who meet every Monday apart from bank holidays, so you can DM their page as well. So yeah, get in contact with all these different agencies if something strikes you on the podcast. Welcome back to the Dad's Behaving Madly podcast. I can't remember what episode we're on. I've lost count, there's been that many, hasn't there?
11.
We're going for 11. So we've got Gav here as well, we've got Darren, and then we've got one of our eldest dads with us. I've been wanting Peter on this podcast for months and months and months.
I think you've been mentioned a few times, we respect you.
So bless him, he's finally come on today, and Pete, I'm going to get your age right here, 78, isn't it?
One more.
79.
Oh, I was born in 78. I thought.
So 79. He's one of our like the dads, one of the eldest dads.
Yeah.
He's a truly inspirational character. I look up to him so much. He's like the dad I've never had, and sometimes I turn to Peter for advice and stuff and all that. And he always puts my head on like this level spot, and he's praising us for what we're doing. But Peter's story has always stuck with me for what he's done for his children, how he's gone through life. And obviously what he's done for his amazing children now, with him and his family have brought them up as well. So he's a really inspirational character. He won't take the inspirational bit, I know he won't, but I've been wanting him on for ages, and he deserves recognition for what he's done, and praise, and just how bloody amazing he is, to be honest.
What I always find with Peter, you never take that praise. You're always like, "Oh, you do a great job, you're better, you're a good lad." You know what I mean? You do such a good job. So.
Well, I was going to open this meeting with saying what a great job you've done. And how wonderful it is that the group has expanded so much in the last year.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, when I was invited to a breakfast about just over a year ago by Paul Dye, you'll remember it well, Graham.
I do, yeah. Bella Rose.
Very first breakfast, you know, this is absolute truth. That was the first time I'd been out with other men in 21 years since we adopted Bethany.
Wow.
That was the very first time in all that, and it was hugely appreciated. Well, it was that long since I've been invited now, I'd forgotten what to talk about.
Now you're always out.
Anyway, you're doing a great job, and I hope you absolutely deserve a bit of that 20 million to get that hub going. So you've got so many men now, and the dads that are struggling, dads that are doing well, and to have that interaction will be absolutely brilliant, where you've got a place where you can pop in each day if you want, or once a week, and just meet other men and share together would be a wonderful thing. And I think it'd be an absolute travesty if you didn't get a bit of that money.
You're really kind, mate, you really are it. You always warm my heart, you do, you're bloody amazing.
You always make us cry, maybe.
But that's how I see it.
It's lovely. Yeah.
And like I say, when we first started, like the Dad's Behaving Madly stuff, like I say, we started off with like 1 or 2 and that, and it was just grown, mate, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like you say, you've been like mainly just like family stuff, stuck in, not really been out and stuff, and just dedicated your life to bringing up your children as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, really at home with me when you said like I've not been out for like ages and stuff, and like this is one of the first breakfasts, because I remember Paul mentioned to me, he said, I've got this gentleman called Peter. He don't really get out much, bless him. Is he all right? He comes to Dad's breakfast. And I was like, yeah, bring him along. Bloody do, you know what I mean? He needs to come along. And like since he turned up and he told your story and stuff, and I'm like, wow, yeah. He's like a little chief. He's our chief, isn't he, at the top is Peter. He's like,
but when I first met you, it felt like I knew you. That's how I feel. You meet someone for the first time and you just click on you. and you're always kind. You always make us feel like important. You're like, how's your family? You always being interested in people. Yeah.
We're all important, and that's one of the biggest troubles, I think, with this world. We're so negative about the country and everything, talking each other down, being angry with each other. The only people that can succeed these days, if you work hard and you're really clever and then you deserve it, sod the rest. There's nothing for them. You know,
there's enough for everybody if you're positive, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's time we had a little bit more care and kindness.
I think I got picked up in the previous episode about some people are just constantly negative all the time, and then sometimes it can try and change your mindset, can it? It's just like, look, life is, you know, we do have tough times, don't we, as we know, and as you know. But in them tough times, there is good times as well. You know, learn to appreciate them good times as well.
And the tough times only make you stronger.
It's about gratitude, isn't it?
Yeah, the more struggles you have, the more challenges you have, the stronger you become as a person. You know, you get that inner strength, that spirituality that will keep driving you forward. It's not a material glitch that lasts a few minutes. You go to have a drink, or you do this or the other for a bit of happiness. It's long-term well-being that you're building up through all these struggles. And anyway, I'll better get on with my story.
You hear about gratitude and stuff, isn't it? You can write down. It's best to get it out your head and write it down. 5 things that you're grateful for every morning. It might be the fact that you've actually just woke up, or you've got cereal in the cupboard, or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But gratitude.
Yeah.
So I want to dig a bit deeper about Peter now, because I want to know all his little story, his ins and outs and stuff, and how he's got where he is today and stuff, and how you started, like what jobs you had as well. Because I remember rightly you said about teaching as well.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to pass it over to Peter, and I'll let him give us a little autobiography.
Yeah.
This is your life thing, isn't it?
This is my life. Yeah, this is my life.
You might write a book.
Yeah. Well, where should I start? I have to start where I was born, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was born in Bolton. In a little terraced house. I had three brothers, amazingly, 2 sets of twins, all boys.
Whoa.
Yeah, my mother was so proud of us all. And she would say, well, your dad only came home from on leave twice, and I ended up with 4 kids. Which was absolutely, she was really proud of that. He was out in Italy, and he got leave twice, and she got these 4 kids. So So she was an amazing mother. You know, she brought, until we were 3, there was only her to look after the 4 of us, which 4 little ones was really tough for her. You know, and just after, towards the end of the war, and just after the war, like. Anyway, my dad, when he came home, he got a job in a local foundry. He was a labourer in a local iron foundry. Shop steward. I think that may be why I've got some of my views on political views now. We got a good grounding from my dad, and he was a real grafter. His hands, you know, I'll never forget looking at his hands. They were just like leather. They didn't have gloves and then out then it foundry, and he'd come home with a burn and all this, that and t'other. And as a shop steward, he represented a lot of the men. He used to write the letters from when they'd been burned or been in hospital, you know, to get compensation for them. So that's my dad and mum, and as I say, we lived in a little terraced house with my 3 brothers. We were really happy, really, and you know, my mother didn't work. She spent all the time looking after us until we got...
That was enough work, wasn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and then when we got 11, I think, about 12, she went out cleaning, like, for somebody. But until then, she stayed at home. And we you know, we were never short of food. We ate frugally, but, you know, you'd always enough to eat. And there were no food banks and out then. And we even managed a holiday once a week in a caravan at Morecambe, like. So, you know, you just wonder now, you know, somebody in that situation, and you say, how much have we progressed? How would they manage? A labourer, 4 kids, would he have his own house? Would he go on it? Would he have to go to food banks? We managed.
We've said before, haven't we? It's such a ready-made society now, isn't it? You can complain. You've said about how you were brought up and what you've had to and you know what I mean, and then we'll complain, oh, the bloody internet's down again, and you think, bloody hell.
Yeah.
You know what I
Different
mean?
problems, isn't it?
Yeah.
How long's this takeaway taking? You know what I mean? You just want to click society.
Yeah. Life was so much simpler then, but
I think.
it was a really warm and loving house, you know.
Yeah.
And anyway, that was all turned upside down for me when I was 4.5, because we'd been off with local kids. Can't believe this really now, but there was a local cattle market about 1.5 miles away, and me and a couple of my brothers and some local kids had wandered off all this way down to this cattle market, and on the way back I got run over with a lorry. And so that changed my life really forever. You know, I was taken to hospital. I was there for 6 months while they tried to, and to Withenshaw Hospital in Manchester. I was transferred there, and they were. I don't really remember much about it because I was only 4.5. But I remember my mother's face at the hospital ward looking for bloody doors, like, you know, at visiting time, because you only got 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon and 2 hours on a Sunday. It was really cruel then. You weren't allowed to be there all the time.
I think you had done some serious damage then, Peter.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and then the next 6 years I spent until I was 11 going backwards and forwards, getting making things that little bit better.
So you lost that bit of childhood, really?
Yeah, I lost a lot. But as I say, you don't really remember a lot of it. You know, but I do, looking back now, I say, well, I've had 79 years and 75 of them have been a bonus. Because really, I was lucky to be here, and so many doctors have said that since, like, you know.
Well, yeah, they knew that you had so much more to offer, didn't they?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, not going yet, we've got plans.
Yeah, we've got plans for this fella.
Yeah, anyway, yes. So that was my early childhood, but I still remember I used to go fishing, all the mill lodges, because we were surrounded by mills. Bolton was such a thriving place then. You know, you had all the mills, all these little supply industries doing metalwork and turning.
It was massive.
Oh, it was massive. Everybody, all my 3 brothers, when they left school, they all got apprenticeships. One was a fitter, one was a sheet metalworker, and one was a turner. You know, that's what kids did when they left. There was always a ready-made apprenticeship to supply all the mills. So, you know, it was a great place to live in Bolton. Yeah. And, of course, that's gone now. But, yeah. So, anyway, you know, that's how I spent my childhood, fishing, and from about 8. And then I had got a bike, and, you know, managed to ride a bike eventually.
No accidents on bike, Peter?
No, not on the bike, no. No, I remember racing with my brother once, and I was devastated because he beat me, my twin brother, and he beat me. And then I realised when at the end of the race I'd left my dynamo hub on, you know, the one that goes on side at tyre, and it just slowed you down. I thought, crikey, if I hadn't, because I was really competitive, you know, even though I had this bad leg, it still didn't stop, you know.
Do you not remember the Spooky Dorks or whatever they used to get in cereal packets, a little frosty reflector thing?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, that was back when you used to get toys in cereal, wasn't it?
Oh,
Stopped all
and
that.
Sugar Puffs and stuff like that.
That was it,
Frosties.
Yeah, Frosties, all the posh cereals, so you buy them round, and you didn't get them in cornflakes.
No, you didn't.
Everybody had cornflakes. Anyway.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you there. Anyway, just popped in my head there.
Little cornflakes and stuff and cereals.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then, obviously, you carry on, Peter, far away, mate.
Anyway, I did 11 plus, but unfortunately I failed my 11 plus because I'd hardly been at school, like. But anyway, I was fortunate to go to this big new school. It was called a multilateral, and they had a grammar school, a technical school, and a secondary modern school. And I went to secondary modern school because I failed my 11 plus. But at the end of each year, the beauty of it was that anybody who was top in the secondary modern school could be transferred either to the technical school, or if they're really good, to the grammar school. And I was lucky enough to get transferred to the grammar school. So so and then you were away then.
It's like a carrot.
Yeah.
You could see the other, that's how the...
The only thing was, nobody ever came the other way.
No.
Yeah, so And I enjoyed my school days, they were brilliant, and then from school I went on to teacher training college, which I really loved that. It was a time for me to like experience the world really, you know, and develop my views on the world, and spent most of my time arguing about politics with the other students and that, which was absolutely. And I met, fell in love, and I got married just after we left college. That was in 1969.
Right.
Sorry, 68. We got just the same. We finished college in June and we got married in July, and then the following May we had our James.
Yeah.
So we started a family. As people did then, you know. You got married, we started a family. I got a job teaching in a secondary modern school because I chose that because I'd always had this thing about disadvantaged kids and that from my background, and my dad, like how he was as a socialist, and anyway. I did 15 years there at Bacup. It was a difficult school, lots of deprivation, lots of self-harm. It was all glue sniffing then and solvent abuse. And we had 2 or 3 die from solvent abuse, and lots of teenage pregnancy. It was a very difficult area really, but a bit like Barracliff, but in some ways it even, you know, more deprived then.
Did you feel like you could make a difference? You were trying to. Like,
I believe they could make
a
difference, absolutely. But generally, you've got a middle class culture clashing with these rebel kids that have had no sort of love in the guidance. Exactly, Graham.
Guidance and love. And
that's all the things that they need to build them as people. And you spent all your life all your teaching life, trying to build a relationship with them and get them to see something positive about themselves instead of everything negative. You know, and school tells people they fail all the time, and it still does at school. You've got the O level for the top 40% of GCSE, as they call them now. And what's for the rest?
The most important thing is getting them through. If they can stick you and get them through, that's it.
Absolutely, Graham. But I think now, as I say, it's even worse because then you had CSEs as well. You had your top band, O levels, next band, next 40%, and CSEs, and then your bottom 20%. Then you could do your gardening and your woodwork and your bits in the community and all that. So there was more for everyone. You know, we didn't have all these people in isolation like they do now and all that nonsense. You know.
Let's segregate them.
You know,
make them feel even worse.
So something, the whole thing has gone backwards. Anyway, that was my teaching career, and after 15 years, it slowly corrodes your morale to work in a situation where you're generally failing. You get your success, but generally you're failing. And it was beginning to wear me out. And as Chris said at an earlier podcast about you can come to these places in life where you've got a decision to make that completely changes your life for the future. And I made the decision. I had 3 kids then. James was 14, our Julie was 11, and Anna was 8. And I said, right, I'm going to give up teaching now. We can't do this anymore. It's time for a change. So I resigned from teaching in September. We put the house on the market. We sold the house, and we were then, what can I do? I decided what we're going to do. The only thing I could do was to buy a shop. We got a big lump. So that's what I did. I bought a shop, and that was at Slights near Whitby. And that was in 1984.
What type of shop?
I finished teaching at the Christmas term in December 21st. It's amazing how it all worked out. And on the 1st of January, we moved into the shop at Slights.
Was it like a newsagent?
It was newsagent, general store, fruit and veg. And so I had this great big lawn, never been in a shop before, you know. And we had 3 kids, and that. So it was a huge gamble, really. I didn't see it as a gamble.
Did you have any moments where you thought, what am I doing here?
Well, not really, because I believed that, to be honest, I believed I was in God's will. You know, I mean, we'd always been brought up at the Methodist Church. We'd always gone to Sunday school. I remember before we went, sat in the backyard, polishing our shoes, because it was a big deal, and my dad would walk us down.
Did you go to Rayfield Methodist?
No, we got,
Yeah, that's it,
No, we go to Rayfield.
They do lovely breakfast and all in half time. I just want to say that because I've been.
That's so.
They're really good what they do for the community down there. They're amazing.
So that's where my anyway. Where was I? I forgot what I was.
So when he was at the shop and that. He
Oh
took the
yeah,
shop.
yeah. We did the shop. Yeah, and that was a great relief for me really, because it got rid of all the pressure, and it was an environment where I could succeed because of what I could do. I could build up the business.
Yeah.
And I set about doing that. I bought a van and travelled to Middlesbrough and back each day. I got the fruit and veg, because you could get brilliant fruit and veg. And in them days, 40 years ago, you could compete with the supermarkets and beat a man's down on fruit and veg if you bought it right in the market. You know, they were still ready. Well, you can now, actually, you know. Yeah. But anyway, so... and I built up went up to Middlesbrough 6 times a week. Had to be up about 3 o'clock each morning. We didn't shut till 8, so you know they were long days. But it was successful, and that being successful after all them years in teaching made you feel good about yourself.
And I think, sorry, Peter, I think sometimes as well it's that belief. Other people believing in you, you're doing what you love, and you think actually it's working. You start getting that confidence, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I didn't have. And so, that and meanwhile, sadly, we had to leave James behind when we went to the shop. Right. And he stayed with some friends of the church that we went to in Rossendale, because he was year 10, and we needed him to get through his O-levels, and he joined us. He joined us after, and all of it, and the girls helped in the shop and that, and they all got jobs in the community. Our Anna was working on John Street in Whitby with the homeless when she got 16 then, so it's always been part of our lives. Our James went off to university in Leeds, and then he went to Reading to work at a place called Yeldon Manor. Well, to volunteer. That Yeldon Manor, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it was a Christian place where drug users and people that had the choice when they got to court, they could either go for rehabilitation and a lot chose, and he worked there for 2 years.
Try and start a journey and come out the other side of it.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what. And our Julia, she went to Manchester University. She worked at St George's in the night hostel there and that. So they've all been involved in
plenty of experience.
Yeah, caring for people and that. So that was them, you know. But sadly, me and my wife, who was a lovely lady, we gradually drifted apart. We got different different
that
ideas.
Happens. It's natural,
you know,
isn't it?
So, and that, and eventually we got divorced. But and so I still see her now and still speak to her when we go down to London, because they all live down to London now, and the grandchildren all live in London. But they come up, they go up at Christmas. I'll say a bit about that at the end. But they come up, they go up at Christmas. I'll say a bit about that at the end. Anyway, I must press on.
Take your time, mate. It's fine.
She working in the shop. She started just as a shop girl, and gradually she got more. Eventually became a partner in the business. And then she did 3 days runs to Middlesbrough, and I did 3. So that made half my burden, really. You know, that was a huge help. And anyway, you probably remember, like in the early 90s, after the fall of the Soviet Union, in Romania, all the orphanage was sort of spotlighted, and babies being adopted, and that really spoke to Julia in her heart, and she really wanted to adopt a child. Anyway, she wrote to the embassy there, but they said because she was a single mum, they didn't want to know. You know, and then she wrote to China, because they were the orphanages in China. Do you remember that? Yeah. So, but they didn't want it. Nobody wanted it. I suppose, just like in the 90s, so single mums were a bit of a pariah, weren't they? They were a bit looked on like immigrants. Now it's just here to sponge the rest of society, and you know.
When you just want to try and make a difference.
Yeah. You know, it's just. Anyway, Julia started some A-levels at Scarborough College, and I shouldn't tell you this, and anyway, she was coming home one night, because she had to be at market for 3 o'clock, she had to be up, and she was going along Scalby Road, I'll not tell you how fast she was going, but she was going at 69 mile an hour on Scalby Road there. Oh dear, and a policeman caught her.
Oh.
So she ended up in court, of course, and she had to go to court because it was such a high.
We've all been naughty, mate, including me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's what she was doing. But amazingly, the chief magistrate knew us because she used to come in the shop. Oh. Now, whether that influenced, I'm not saying it did, but she didn't get banned, which was the big thing. She explained she had to be up in her mind. She'd been doing her A-levels and trying to better herself, see. And anyway, she got a whacking big fine, but
that's why you have to be kind and nice to people. It doesn't, you might need them some
have we not been kind to him?
Yeah, exactly. If you were rude to us, I remember it.
We all do little errors of judgment.
I hadn't thought of that.
You never know when you need people, and it's always good to be good to everybody. And
you should always be kind to people.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Mm.
Join us for part 2, where we've been dying to get this guest on for a long while, Peter. So he's an inspirational character. You need to hear his story because he's 79 years old. At that age, you think he'd slow down a bit, wouldn't you? But he isn't. He hasn't slowed down. He continues to be the amazing dad that he can to his family. Listen to their story, how they started their adoption, and the amazing children they have as well. So he really is an inspirational guy. Listen in, because this one's an absolute beauty.